Hello everyone, my name is Alex Medina, and today I will be talking about my film opening entitled Lila Rose. It was created along with the help of my partner Laura Finan. It is a murder mystery which is set in the 1940s with two main characters, Adele LaRoe, which is played by Laura, and Detective Briggs, which I had the honor of portraying. We took inspiration from a very specific subgenre of crime films called film noir, which was popular during the 1940s and 50s. We would classify our film as falling under the film noir style by using many of the tropes associated with it. For example, most film noir films star a detective tasked with investigating a murder of some sort. In our film, we have the detective who is investigating the murder of Klaus LaRoe, Adele's husband. Another trope of the film noir genre is the inclusion of the femme fatale character archetype, which Adele was based on. Adele is manipulative and mysterious in a way that makes you want to know her true intentions. We try to portray this with the way Laura acted as her and in her dialogue. She is very off-putting and not very cooperative with the detective, who is another character inspired directly from the genre. Detective Jeremy Briggs is the typical detective there to get the job done and ask straightforward questions. At the beginning of the brainstorming process, Laura and I had not the slightest clue where we wanted to go with this project. Our first idea was to go with a romance type of film with inspirations coming from films such as Like Crazy. This was in the first week, and literally at the end of the same week I discovered Wes Anderson, who has since become my favorite director. In the span of a week, I watched every one of his films, and he became such a big inspiration for this film. The oddness and quirkiness of his films had me coming up with ideas left and right. In the middle of watching A Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, I had to pause it and write the script for the LaRoes in fear of losing the idea. I was inspired by his placement of the camera, especially in conversations, because it allows for the audience to focus on one character at a time, placing them in the direct center of the frame. In Anderson's films, it's all about symmetry. In many of his shots, you could tell he went to very high lengths to keep the symmetry intact for the entire shot, even when on the move, using tracking shots to keep the audience immersed like they're watching a play. For a detective in the film noir genre, they typically wore things such as a long trench coat, dress shirt, tie, and usually a fedora to complete the look. I didn't have a trench coat or fedora, but luckily I was able to find the trench coat at Goodwill for just $5 and the fedora at Burlington Coat Factory for $10. Laura put together an outfit for Adele, who was a woman of high class during this time period, from pieces she found in her mom's closet. For the set, we used Laura's house, mainly her dining room, which already had the antiquated aesthetic we were looking for, from everything from the curtains on the windows to the little side table with the old-looking serving glasses. The location was perfect. Originally, we were looking to make the setting inside of a police station, and the conversation would take place inside of the interrogation room, but because of budget and time restraints, we needed to find a place that was more practical to our resources. For the credits, Laura and I came up with the idea of the credits being in the style of a ransom note, where we would have a magazine cutout letters that Laura and I had meticulously cut out letter by letter. We decided to use a sweep transition on the credit scene since the detective swipes the actual letters out of frame, so we thought to create a flow in the credits by using this transition. It also saved on time, which Laura and I had a problem with. We needed to cut down the opening to just 2 minutes long, while we easily had 5 minutes of usable footage. So we decided to cut out the time-wasting scenes like Adele LaRoe walking through the house, and we cut out the last portion of the conversation. This is what I decided to call the Cambridge cut, and eventually I want to make a director's cut in the future which features the entire conversation. The experience of a 7-hour shoot over the process of one day taught me a lot in terms of time management. It was a really nice reality check, because if I wanted to make a 2-hour film, that would require tons of man hours and a lot of help. I was able to learn the intricacies of the Nikon camera we were using, first being that if you want to shoot a movie with a camera like that, it would be preferable that you have a few charged batteries on hand, because Laura and I had to charge the battery every 10 to 15 minutes. In terms of audiences, I would think this is for older people, or at least adults, preferably to be rated R so we could have some leeway when it comes to what we could put in and what we can't. I feel the audiences will not know what to expect when coming into this movie. They will assume from posters and promotional material that it will be a dark and suspenseful film, but then we hit them with the opening credits and all expectations are blown out of the water. The music in the opening sets a comedic tone. The way Detective Briggs fumbles with the letters also has a comedic feel to it, so the audience will go in expecting one thing and leaving thinking another. Distribution might be an issue because the only people working on this film were Laura and I, and as far as I know, neither of us know a big name producer or a distribution company who will be willing to distribute this film for us. What I can hope for is that this film will make it into a film festival to be shown to a niche audience, and then it could be picked up by a distributor or left to become sort of a cult classic like many of Wes Anderson's films are. Editing the film is when it all comes together. You cannot just use a camera and film your movie from start to finish and it's done. No, you have to upload the footage to a camera, to put it into a computer, and then put it into an editing software. In our case, we used iMovie. Then you have to weed out all the bad footage to use the good usable takes. Once you have the takes, you need to put them in order, make it make sense. In editing, I like to picture the audience member's eyes as a camera. Where will they be looking at this point in the film? Cut to there. So after you get all the shots in a coherent order, that's when the music comes in. We use bensounds.com for the royalty-free music offered on the site. When it's all said and done, we got to upload our film to YouTube for the eyes of the world to see. Having Laura as my partner made the project easier and more enjoyable. We were able to bounce ideas off of each other, and our combined creativity made the film evolve into something amazing. I'm Alex Medina. Thanks for watching.